and gasoline and propane for their homes so they can keep them cool, they can keep the electricity on. Very basic, simple essentials that a lot of us take for granted. So let's talk about how we get this money. So this is a federal program. It is funded out of Health and Human Services, which has taken a tremendous hit in the last couple of months. So the federal government, Congress passes their budget, the president signs it, and they allocate funding to programs like LifeLoop. Now, the federal government does not administer this program. They're not the ones sending checks to people. They really don't have a whole lot to do with it. What happens is a small office at Health and Human Services, about 10 people total, they use a bunch of fancy calculations to determine how much of this funding goes to each state. This looks at things like, what percentage of the low-income households do you have? What are your temperature variations? Are you a moderate climate, or do you have a bunch of swings so people have trouble affording to pay for AC or heat in the summer and winter? Lots of different calculations go into it, and then they send it to each state. The state does not administer this program. So in Texas, we have the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. They're the ones that get the money from Health and Human Services, and they distribute it locally. Here in the Contra Valley, we have the Contra Valley Community Action Agency. Small disclaimer, I used to work there, which is why I have a lot of this information. And they serve counties within the state. So every county in the state is served by one of these organizations. So they send the money to these organizations, and these organizations distribute the funds. Important to note as well, they're not just handing out checks to people. This money goes directly to the service providers, your TXU, your Green Mountain, the energy providers. So people are not getting checks in the mail. Nobody's just getting handed money. Let's talk about how hard it is to qualify for this program. For a family of four people, so mom, dad, 2 kids, you have to make less than $4,188 a year.
What?
That's not your take-home pay. That's before taxes, before medical insurance, before everything else comes out. You have to make less than that. When you start taking out all your taxes and all of that other stuff, you're lucky if you are bringing home $31,000 a year. $31,000 a year in order to qualify for this program. That's $2,600 a month. Now for an average 2-bedroom apartment in San Angelo, so mom and dad, 2 kids, 2 bedrooms, $1,300. That's half of what you're bringing home in order to qualify for this program. That leaves you $1,300 a month to pay for literally everything else. So this is not going out to Reagan's welfare queens that don't exist. These are real, true families in need. A lot of the folks, most of the folks that are getting this are folks like our elderly and disabled who are dependent on Social Security checks that bring in next to nothing. These folks are desperate, and without this funding, they're not affording things like food, essential medications, going to the doctor, paying for childcare, paying for school supplies, all the things that we take for granted when we have stable jobs, these folks do not have, and this funding is at stake. All 10 people who work at Health and Human Services at the federal level, who are in charge of distributing these funds, all 10 of them. I'm glad that was a happy moment because all 10 of those folks have been fired. All 10 of them. Which means that there is now no one at the federal government to disperse these funds. Now we're lucky at the moment for 2025, all but about 10% of these funds have been sent to the state. So we're okay for right now. We're not going to feel this immediately. But come October, when we have the new fiscal year, if, by God, there's money put into the budget for this program, there is no one there to distribute it. And this is how they're getting around defunding these programs. Because it doesn't matter what Congress puts into the budget, if there's no one there to distribute these funds to the state, then they don't go out. And if they don't go to the state, they don't come locally. And if they don't come locally, 5,000 people in our community can't afford to keep their electricity on. If you can't keep your electricity on, your landlord is going to evict you. So we're talking about 5,000 people who are at risk of losing their housing because 10 people at the federal government got fired. That's what we're facing right now. It's daunting, it's scary, it's terrifying, and this is just one little program. I say little. LIHEAP is about $4 billion a year for the whole country. Locally, we're getting to about $2 million. That's what comes into our community, which doesn't seem like a lot, but for those 5,000 people, it is everything. It's literally the only thing keeping them afloat, and they're about to lose it. So I know that this is terrifying. So I come with a little bit of hope for us. I have 3 things that you can do right now today to make a difference. So 1, China's, and everybody else has already talked about it. We need to be talking to our elected representatives. August Fluker sits on the Energy Commission. He's part of these decisions. He needs to know that we are here. He needs to know that there are people in his constituency. Wow, I did not say that word well, but you know what I mean. There are people who vote who don't agree with what he's doing. You don't have to do it every day. You don't have to do it every week. It doesn't even need to be a long, drawn-out thing. A quick email, a quick phone call, a quick stop in the office. These are the things that we need to be doing so he knows that we may be the minority, but we are not going to be silent. Woo! Thank you. Yes. All right. Number 2, we are going to prepare without panic. I know that it is hard to see all the things going around and not feel like the world is literally coming to an end. But we are not going to treat this like a dystopian nightmare, but we will be prepared for when things hit the fan. This means planting a small garden. It means learning how to can. It means learning how to sew a button. It means talking to your neighbor and learning a skill that they may have that you don't have. It means stocking without stockpiling and hoarding. Right? We're not hoping for disaster, but we're going to prepare so that when things go south, we're not standing with our hands in the air wondering what we're supposed to be doing. The internet is a magical, wonderful thing, and while it can certainly cause its own evils, you can learn everything. We have amazing library systems here and phenomenal librarians who will show you exactly where you need to go to learn the skills that you don't have. Talk to your neighbors, talk to your grandparents and your parents. If you don't know something, learn. Learn how to change your oil. Learn how to do the basic things to keep your household running, because the government has told us repeatedly that they no longer care to take care of us. So we have to be prepared to take care of ourselves. Number 3, we've got to take care of each other. We've got to check on our neighbors. We got to stop in to the elderly neighbor next door. We got to check on that single mom that you know is struggling. We're going to drop off a meal just because you know it'll make her day. We're going to stop in and read a book with our elderly neighbor because you know nobody goes over there, right? Again, the government's not going to take care of us. They're ripping out all of the safety nets. We have to be there for ourselves, and we have to show up for each other. I want to share a story with you, and this just happened last night, and I think that it is a sign of hope and a sign of good things to come. I was out, sitting, just having a drink and a dinner, and some folks, and my husband and another woman's husband got up and left the table to go talk to someone else, and the woman said, "Oh good, okay, we've got a moment, I want to talk to you." Thank you. Thank you for posting what you've been posting on social media. Thank you for sharing, because I'm concerned. Now, this is someone who, to the best of my knowledge, probably voted for Trump. Her husband is highly conservative, spouts all of the Fox News missions. She waited until he got up and left the table because she did not feel comfortable talking with him there. But she quietly let me know that she is also very not okay with what's going on now. November, she was okay, but now her eyes have been opened, right? She's seeing what's happening, and she's not okay with that. Now, it's very, very easy for us to say, "Oh, did you F around and now you're in the find out phase?" We're allowed to be angry. We're allowed to be upset with the people who voted for the people who are making this happen. But if we want change, if we want real change, if we want change, we have to make space for the people who are also ready to change. We've got to be there, we've got to hear them, we've got to listen to them, we need to meet them wherever they are, and as they are seeing this world around us, we need to be prepared to bring them into these groups, to introduce them to the other people. They may not be ready to hear all of it yet. There may be just one issue that's caught them that they're going, oh, that's not okay. I'm not all right with that. Meet them with that issue. Talk to them about that. Share with them. And slowly but surely, they're going to come around. Because as they open their eyes and they stop tuning into Fox News, they're going to see that they agree with a lot more of the issues that are popping up. So please, it's important that we have this networking group, but we need to not be a closed circle. We've got to make sure that we are making space for the people who are waking up and realizing what's going on around them, because the more of us that we are, the louder our voices is heard and the more change that we can impact. Yes. Thanks, guys.
Yes, compassion and understanding. We have to open our hearts to the people that have been in opposition with us because they don't feel comfortable coming to us when we're yelling in their faces or when we're saying, we told you so, we told you so. We need to say, hi, yeah, I see you. Yes, humankind. Be kind. Open your arms. Say, I'm sorry if I made you feel rejected. I'm sorry if I made you feel any kind of shame. I'm sorry, but I'm here for you. I'm here to help us figure out a path forward. So yes, thank you for that message. We have another speaker, Eli, thank you. I just met him today. Eli.
All right. So first, I want to say this is both terrifying and liberating. Keep it close. This is both terrifying and liberating. I am a student at ASU, and whenever I decided to return to my education, I got accepted into 5 universities, and I went and I toured them all. ASU's core values and mission statement, which include cultural celebration, integrity, diversity, and inclusion, was my deciding factor, as well as the fact that our scholarship leaves a lot of students without debt. So I was happy to march on over here, and I've been here for a few semesters. And we have a lot of student organizations on campus that celebrate cultural awareness. Donald Trump's Executive Order 17143, Section 2. All right. I'll say that again. Donald Trump's Executive Order 17143 through banning and attempting to dismantle DEI across government, education, and local activities has dismantled some of the things we are allowed to do on campus. Some of our Hispanic cultural celebrations have been banned, and we're not allowed to have them on campus. We've been having ceremonies for years, and they are no longer. I am the president of the Pre-Law Association, and because our core values and our mission statement include what I've already said, I put them in my club's values and mission statement, and I've been told to take those out. I am not happy with this, and I know these are only 2 small impacts, but in attempting to use executive orders to make the states comply with Trump's agenda, I don't think our representatives are, like a lot of people have been saying, voicing their opinions. They're not questioning these bills or executive orders that are coming out. These bills are extremely vague, which leaves practically anyone open to claim that something is a DEI initiative. Having a stole ceremony that is inclusive to all on campus is not using DEI in a negative manner like the Republicans claim it is. So I just want to come out here and voice my opinion. I'm happy to be here. I wrote a speech, and give me a moment. Okay, and more context. Whenever I voiced my opinion to the administration, unfortunately I was told integrity requires compliance with the law. That is not my definition of integrity. So I'd like to share with y'all what it is. Rosa Parks knew she was breaking the law when she sat on that bus. Susan B. Anthony knew she was breaking the law when she voted. The Greensboro Four knew they were breaking the law when they sat in a white cafeteria. MLK didn't request permits to protest. Harriet Tubman, one of the first people to not care about following the law. That is not just. And those are some just examples here in America. We also have Gandhi, we have Mandela, we have Malala, all across the world, all fighting to speak their mind and not blindly comply with the law. So I just wanted to get out here and say that we will not blindly comply with the law, and hopefully the university does not change the rules that allow us to protest on campus. And hopefully they do not change our core values or mission statement. That's all.
Thank you so much. There's a lot of non-compliance that we need to be considering, and to the point, like, as much as people want to believe those executive orders, they don't actually create laws. Congress creates laws. That's actually what our Constitution says, right? And this administration is really trying to rip that Constitution up, poke holes in it, say, nope, this is not what we're doing. We don't have to pay attention to this. We are in a constitutional crisis right now. The media keeps saying, are we? Are we? No, we are. We absolutely are. The Trump administration is trying to defy the judicial rulings on his actions. We have to continue to push back and find the people that are recognizing how un-American this behavior truly is. And I know that there's a myth of America we were all raised with that is something that isn't quite exactly what we are, but there is something in that we need to rely on and push back and say, no, actually, we can be this. We can make this happen. The Constitution is a living document, so it can still be changed. Hopefully, this administration doesn't take that into onto their list of to-dos, but we can continue to push back and make sure that what is there stays true, amplified, and we just have to keep staying true. And let's be real, we all know Congressman Pfluger he has his own agenda, and he is enjoying his invites to the tables that he gets invited to, and his family has money, and they own half this town and half this county and half of District 11. And that's not easy for us to push back against either, but we do have a voice, and we do need to make it heard, to the point of again, writing, calling, write letters. I know stamps are getting more expensive these days, but the physical letter is an art that we are losing as well, and that actually takes up space in their office and becomes a visual replication of our voices. So that can sometimes be as effective, if not more effective, than emails or phone calls or showing up.
Wait, do we still have a post office?
I think so. I hope so. For now, we do. And so, speaking of August Pfluger, I do have a petition that I've been.
Town hall.
Yeah, we should definitely try to do a town hall. I think working with his office to see if we can make something happen. Petitioning our city council to see if they can make something happen. Absolutely, see if we can do that. Speaking of city council and mayor, please, if you are registered to vote, we do have an election coming up on May 6th, May 5th, May 5th, 3rd, May 3rd. Early voting starts the 22nd, which is Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, and then May 3rd. It's actually on a Monday. Is it May 3rd on a Monday? Saturday. It's a Saturday, which makes it weird. Sorry, I don't have a calendar in front of me. Thank you for everybody who knows things. Yes.
Are there any more mayoral forums happening?
I don't know, are there?
They pop up like the day of.
Yeah. So keep an eye out on social media for mayoral forums. There's also some that have been recorded and that are on YouTube. I know SAPAC hosted one that is on YouTube. I think it is through San Angelo Live. It was Yuki and Joe Hyde. So I guess give them a little bit of traffic if you want to watch that one. And then some others have been recorded. But look into those candidates. There's at least 4, right? There's Gary Johnson, there's Tom Thompson, there's Jackson? What? Gary Jenkins. Thank you. Gary Jenkins, Tom Thompson, Trinidad Aguirre,
Juan Acevedo.
Acevedo. I'm dyslexic even when I'm speaking.
There's a meeting on Monday, April 21st at 6 p.m.
Okay.
At First Baptist Church.
Meeting Monday,
To encourage churches.
April
It's open to
21st.
anybody.
Yeah, April 21st. That is this upcoming Monday at what time? 6?
At 6 o'clock.
6
That's
p.m.
Tuesday, I believe.
First Baptist?
Is it Monday? Okay. First Baptist.
First Baptist. Yeah. So not only is there mayor, there are also city council. The even numbered city council districts are being elected this May as well as we have school board members. There are three school board positions, right? Is that correct?
Only 2 are contested.
Okay, so 3 school board positions, only 2 are contested. Same with the city council. There's, I think, 3 districts, only 2 are contested. So see what you can find out. Reach out, meet a neighbor, and see if they know anything about any of these candidates. See what districts they're in. See if you can find information from anyone else sitting here, because these are the people that are interested and involved. Again, reach out to West Texas Indivisible if you need information. I'm going to shamelessly plug Nicole. So I'm also a member of San Angelo Equity Alliance. We are building community as well. So what Sarah said about learning how to garden, learning how to sew, finding people that can teach you how to cook. We are building that kind of community connection. We recently had an event this week where we had a community gardener and other conversations that were being had. So if you are looking for skill sets to learn, you can reach out to Equity Alliance as well, because we're trying to help build that community along with West Texas Indivisible. I've got another QR code if you want to go to our website here. So all the QR codes all day long. We are a QR code society these days. So again, speaking of QR codes, I've got this petition to August Pfluger. I started back in February. I've got another QR code to take you to the change.org version. I've got the physical version here for folks to sign. So if you're interested in reading that and putting your name on this paper, you can, or you can go to change.org. If you're interested in delivering this petition with me this week, I'm going to deliver it on, my goal I think is Wednesday afternoon. We will go, if you are interested, please come contact me. Either contact me here before you leave, contact through West Texas Indivisible, through San Angelo Equity Alliance, any of these, you can access me through that. Wednesday afternoon, deliver this message as a group, because I think that will also send August Pfluger a strong message if we can get together and deliver as a group. Do y'all want to hear a poem? So yesterday was the 250th anniversary of Paul Revere's ride. 250 years ago yesterday, his midnight ride. So I'm going to read the Henry Wadsworth Longfellow poem, Paul Revere's Ride, so that we can kind of remember what that was. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere on the 18th of April in 75. Hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. He said to his friend, "If the British march by land or sea from the town tonight, Hang a lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the North Church Tower as a signal light. 1 if by land and 2 if by sea. And I, on the opposite shore, will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm for the country folk to be up and to arm. Then he said good night, and with the muffled oar silently rolled to the Charleston shore. Just as the moon rose over the bay, where swinging wide at her moorings lay the Somerset, British man of war, a phantom ship, with each mast and spar across the moon like a prison bar, and a huge black hulk that was magnified by its own reflection in the tide. Meanwhile, his friend through alley and street wanders and watches with eager ears, till the silence around him he hears the muster of men at the barrack door, the sound of arms, and the tramp of feet, and the measured tread of the grenadiers marching down to their boats on the shore. Then he climbed to the tower of the church, up the wooden stairs with stealthy tread to the belfry chamber overhead, and startled the pigeons from their perch on the somber rafters that round him made masses and moving shapes of shade, by the trembling ladder, steep and tall, to the highest window in the wall, where he paused to listen and look down a moment on the roofs of the town, and the moonlight flowing over all. Beneath in the churchyard lay the dead, in their night encampment on the hill, wrapped in silence so deep and still that he could hear, like a sentinel's tread, the watchful wind as it went creeping along from tent to tent, and seeming to whisper, all is well. A moment only he feels the spell of the place and the hour and the secret dread of the lonely belfry and the dead. For suddenly all his thoughts are bent on a shadowy something far away. Suspense. Where the rivers widen to meet the bay, a line of black that bends and floats on the rising tide like a bridge of boats. Meanwhile, impatient to mount and ride, booted and spurred, with a heavy stride, on the opposite shore walked Paul Revere. Now he patted his horse's side. Now he gazed on the landscape far and near, then impetuous stamped the earth, and turned and tightened his saddle girth. But mostly he watched with eager search the belfry tower at the old North Church, as it rose above the graves on the hill, lonely and spectral and somber and still. And lo, as he looks on the belfry height, a glimmer, and then a gleam of light. He springs to the saddle, the bridle he turns, but lingers and gazes, till full on his sight a second lamp in the belfry burns. A hurry of hooves in a village street, a shape in the moonlight, a bulk in the dark, and beneath from the pebbles in the passing, a spark struck by a steed that flies fearless and fleet. That was all, and yet, through the gloom and the light, the fate of a nation was riding that night. And the spark struck by that steed in his flight kindled the land into flame with its heat. He has left the village and mounted the steep, and beneath him, tranquil and broad and deep, is the mystic, meeting the ocean tides. And under the alders, the skirt its edge, now soft on the sand, now loud on the ledge, is heard the stamp of his steed as he rides. It was 12 by the village clock when he crossed the bridge into Medford town. He heard the crowing of the cock and the barking of the farmer's dog, and felt the damp of the river fog that rises when the sun goes down. It was 1 by the village clock when he galloped into Lexington. He saw the gilded weathercock swim in the moonlight as he passed, and the meeting house windows, blank and bare, gaze at him with a spectral glare, as if they already stood aghast at the bloody work that they would look upon. It was 2 by the village clock when he came to the bridge in Concord town. He heard the bleating of the flock and the twitter of the birds among the trees, and the breath of the morning breeze blowing over the meadow brown. And one was safe and asleep in his bed who, at the bridge, would be first to fall, who that day would be lying dead, pierced by a British musket ball. You know the rest. In the books you have read how the British regulars fired and fled, how the farmers gave them ball for ball from behind each fence and farmyard wall, chasing the redcoats down the lane, then crossing the fields to emerge again under the trees of the turn of the road, and only pausing to fire and load. So through the night rode Paul Revere, and so through the night went his cry of alarm to every Middlesex village and farm, a cry of defiance and not of fear, a voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, and a word that shall echo forevermore. For born on the night wind of the past, through all our history to the last, in the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people will waken and listen to hear the hurried hoofbeats of that steed and the midnight message of Paul Revere. So like Paul Revere, this is our alarm, y'all. We keep shouting it, we keep spreading it. We are ready. We are here. Use your voices as much as you can. What's that?
Young man right here that was Eli, the schools going
Yes.
to satisfy and get money, cut out his ability to have free speech by
Right.
writing. And we need the free speech is what keeps us American.
Yeah. Free speech, absolutely. This is free speech. This is everything we're doing here. Thank you. Everything we're doing here is our First Amendment right. We are exercising our right to free speech, our right to protest, our right to gather in peaceful assembly. And we have to fight for this First Amendment, because if this one goes, they all go. They all fall. Right? And speaking of, you know, we've watched these people that are getting deported and imprisoned offshores, that are legal citizens that have the right to be here, that they have been given permission to be here, and we have heard the call that homegrowns are next. Does that mean me? I don't know anymore. Does that mean us? I haven't committed a serious crime, but if they label
Make it a crime.
right, but if they decide to call this a crime, then here we are. So we have to fight for our rights, because as soon as one of our citizens, as soon as one of our residents loses theirs, we have all lost ours, and we have all that. And that has happened. We are seeing that happen. The courts are fighting back. Things are happening. The courts are slow, but we have to keep fighting, and we have to trust and push and keep rallying together. There is a sign here that has August Pfluger's number in it. I'm going to give you all, if you want to get your phones out, I'm going to give you all August Pfluger's number. I have it on speed dial. If that's even really a thing. It's just in my contacts. But calling his local, whoops. Just kidding. Where'd you go, sir? All right, so his local number, 325-659-4010. Give him a call. I call him all the time. I leave voicemails if they're not in yet. I leave voicemails if they've already left for the day. If I'm real fired up in the middle of the night, I get my phone out and I call and I leave a voicemail then too. And I'm sure they're tired of hearing from me. 325-659-4010.
Call Darby too.
Yes, don't forget Darby and Charles Perry. Yeah, Darby just turned his back on us. He was an advocate for no vouchers, and then he voted for them. And he says his hands were tied, and we know that that's just nonsense. So let him know. But also, there are lots of people fighting for us that aren't our representatives, that are doing amazing work. If you find out who those people are and you want to give them a message of thank you, please do that too, because they need our support as much as our people need to hear from us and say we need you to change. They need to hear from us to say thank you. Because that encouragement is everything. I have been very vigilant in trying to organize things like this, and it's been exhausting, but the reason I do it is because everyone keeps coming to me and saying thank you. And like Sarah said, people will turn to you and say thank you when other people aren't listening and looking, and it really does mean the world, and it's what keeps me going, and I hope it's what can keep you going. So keep spreading the word. We will have more events. We will build more community. We will do all the things we need to do. So please keep fighting. And I think that's all I have to say. Thank you all so much for being here. Feel free to hang out. We do have a few snacks if you need anything, water. QR codes abound. Thank you. Thank y'all.